Welcome back to Bards of Geekdom. My name is Chris.
My name is Dustin, and we have some special guests with us. I have
Miranda.
And also
Kate.
Thank you. Our ladies have joined us down here for Planet Comic Con in Kansas City.
2017.
2017. Brr, 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 brr. Good job, guys.
That's good.
Yeah, yes, I love the
I liked
enthusiasm. The thing that listeners may not know is that everybody here is dead. Tired, dead,
Exhausted.
Babies. I had hooker boots on.
They were glorious hooker boots.
The babies had hooker boots on?
We all had hooker boots on. Hashtag Slay Girl Slay.
I still have my hooker boots on.
And that's the kind of quality we give to you listeners.
Absolutely. So what did you enjoy? What was your favorite thing so far you've seen? I know we've got one more day.
Mm-hmm. Well, my favorite, so this is my first large con. I've been to at least a smaller con in Omaha, Okamacon, right?
Yep, Okamacon.
And we were there, we had a table, so we were more handing out flyers at a table and actually enjoying the con. So it's been nice to actually have the experience to walk around, go see the different vendor tables, go see the different kinds of arts, cosplayers, all that. I think the most fun I've had today I cosplayed as Dr. Fate, and it's fun when people recognize the character you're cosplaying.
Absolutely.
And especially those kind of like older, I don't want to say obscure characters because they're not totally obscure, but
not quite as popular.
Not quite like if I was walking around as like a Batman or Wonder Woman.
Or Joker and Harley Quinn, which was everywhere.
I think the best one I saw though was a gender bent Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
And I saw some cute spider couples. That was adorable.
There was more than one.
Yeah.
I think I saw a Miles and Spider Gwen as well.
Which, not to go too far off topic, but I'm kind of sad that relationship didn't continue in the comic books, because I think they decided to just stay friends. If you're caught up on,
it's for the best.
It is for the best.
It's for the best, even if you hate it.
Yeah. I don't know. Miranda, you've been to cons before, or at least a couple.
Yeah.
What was your favorite part?
I helped make a star over John Barrowman's ass.
You want to talk a little bit about that, because that was a whole thing.
Friends and I did a photo op with John Barrowman, Catherine Tate, and Billy Piper, 3 stars of Doctor Who. And a friend really wanted to form like a star, like making basically peace signs and connecting them all over John Barrowman's ass. So we did that, and it was brilliant. And John Barrowman leaped into action very quickly. He knew exactly what was happening.
He knew what to do. We'll also post that picture on the YouTube upload when we do this.
Oh, God.
Did you? Well, I remember you said you had difficulties in the beginning.
There were difficulties properly forming the star. Because we only had about 10 seconds to really get this right. Mm-hmm. So we have 2 different pictures. The first one, it's a fucking mess of a picture. The second one looks really good. And we all look like on point in the star.
No pun intended.
Pun totally intended. But completely different pictures, both beautiful.
Excellent.
Yeah. I really liked the photo op, and what I really liked this con were the panels, because I really like panels in general, and Q&As with guests, and this con did that very well.
Yeah, Planet Comic Con does a real good job with their panels, and you guys probably didn't get a chance to hit probably not even a quarter of the panels.
Definitely not.
Like they just have some awesome panels. Kate, what about you?
Oh, geez. Probably Barrowman's panel was my favorite so far.
So upset I missed that.
So looking forward to Ron Perlman's tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I don't think it can top Barrowman's today, which was crazy and fun. And he came out wearing a TARDIS dress and TARDIS leggings, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and I think when you actually literally bring down the house, you can't follow that.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the all the curtains and everything behind him came down, and he leapt off stage. I think it actually did injure somebody. Mm-hmm. It threw off all the panels for the rest of the day, but It was pretty legendary.
And we discovered that really there was a wizard behind the curtain controlling John Barrowman.
It was another John Barrowman.
But he did come out in TARDIS spandex and a TARDIS dress, and he flashed his bulge to some people. And he's probably one of the funniest panels I've ever been to.
Which, according to Catherine Tate, John's dick is just legendary on stage. So
yeah.
I don't think it's just on stage.
just wherever it goes.
Wherever it goes.
Catherine Tate's panel, she's like, when she first got on Doctor Who, they're like, oh, don't worry, John Barrowman's gonna probably drop his pants here in like 2 minutes, and she's like, that's not a real thing, and then his pants were on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, he talked in his panel about how one of the shots that they did for Doctor Who, it has him like splayed out naked, and he was actually naked. And every so often, one of the crew had to continue putting like fake blood on him and spreading it around. And this guy was like that far away from his junk. No, this is like 6 inches. Yeah. And the guy looked down at him, and John Barrowman looked at him, and he saw that the guy was smiling while keeping eye contact. And he was like, "Why are you smiling?" And he said, "Because my wife says I have the best job in the world right now."
Oh my goodness! No, he's everybody that we've seen, in the panels, the few that we got to see, Catherine Tate, Billy Piper, and then Felicia Day we saw. I mean, they were all just like seemed genuinely nice, and I know there's. It's hard when you never actually get to talk to them and you get to see the face they're putting on, but I feel like you can kind of tell when somebody's being like fake, and I mean they just seem genuine to me.
Yeah, 2 years ago, the last time we came to Planet Comic Con, we got to go to Ming-Na Wen's panel, and the exact same way. She was super friendly, really nice, told some great stories. Met her in person and was completely starstruck for like the next 48 hours. I think it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I've never considered myself like I geek out about plenty of things, but I've never been like a big fandom boy. Like the idea of like meeting a celebrity really just never you never give me the chills or whatever to the bone. But it was really cool and chill to meet like Felicia Day today, and then hopefully Will Wheaton tomorrow. And we got up there, and she was just Wheaton! But she was just a genuine person, and we chit-chatted a little bit because, of course, it was her and her brother that kind of launched the Team Human community that we kind of branched off of, and her and Miranda talked a little bit about the book, and she made physical contact with Miranda.
Oh, it's never washing the shirt again. Totally joking, but
what did she put in the book?
So she originally just kind of signed the book, and then like she kind of like we were still talking at that point, and she kind of looked up back at me, looked back down, and put "You're weird. That's good."
But why did she put that?
So there's a I don't know if you've read Felicia Day's book, but she made all of the little pictures and bits in her book, and one of them is like zeros and parentheses of a naked woman.
Okay.
And that Felicia Day made this little naked woman out of zeros and, parentheses, and then, like, blurred out the nipples and crotch on it. And there's a little caption that says, something along the lines of, you can dial me up. and I don't know, I just wanted to give Felicia Day, to just say, like, this image is hilarious to me, and I just wanted her to know that. And Felicia Day's like, oh, this there are some pictures that just change your life, and I'm like, this one changed my life.
This naked picture of dashes and parentheses rocked my world.
Blurred out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's great.
Like, can we have the copy that's not blurred out? No, that's cool. That's fine. You do you, girl. But no, it was so. I mean, and I'm hoping we have like a similar experience like that with Will Wheaton tomorrow. It's just you hear a lot of the horror stories of, well, I met this person, it wasn't who, because we were talking about this over drinks with our friends. I met so and so, and they were an asshole, and they were this and that. But I think people forget that they're real people too. So it's like you keep the clever joke that you had, they probably heard 1,000 times, tens of thousands of times. Will Wheaton's big thing has always been people will always run up to him and say, shut up, Wesley.
Yeah.
From the show, he's probably heard it a million times. He's seen the buttons, gotten the shirts, gotten the photographs. Like
at his panel tomorrow, I'm sure
somebody's gonna come up to the the question, open it to the audience, and someone's gonna like, shut up, Wesley, and then just run away because they're so clever.
Billy Piper yesterday was asked, like, is David Tennant a good kisser? It's like she gets that question all the time.
Mm-hmm. And she even just said, too, like, she hates that question. But I think people forget that though they have a cult following, they are still just people.
Yeah.
But, it was generally nice to meet her, and I'm, again, hoping to have that same experience. And, and I mean, that's I think what's been the best part of the con, because tomorrow being Sunday, I mean, it's kind of the wind down day. Mm-hmm. We had our cosplays. I got to take this fantastic picture with the Constantine. Hot choice.
There was a manly hug in that picture.
We're gonna put that picture on too.
That was a bursting at the seams Constantine is what that was.
You know what? But it did good. It did real good. I don't know. Did you have a favorite part of this?
John Barrowman's panel was phenomenal. I did also get to sit in on the DC TV Universe panel, which had Michael Rowe, Teddy Sears, Maggie Jiha, and David Deshane, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. Basically, Deadshot, Poison Ivy, Zoom, and David Deshane's done so much stuff. I mean, he was in The Dark Knight. He was in Ant-Man. He's going to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He was in Gotham. He was just recently in The Flash as Abracadabra. And that was a really good panel. Had some interesting questions, and they just kind of talked about their experience playing like villains on DC TV shows and stuff. It was really good. Yeah.
Any takeaway from it? Any juicy tidbits that they dropped about upcoming projects?
The only tidbit that was really dropped, besides the fact that David Deshane is going to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I would assume means the whole crew, Michael Pena, is all coming back for that as well.
Michael Pena, blessed.
But it doesn't sound like Deadshot is coming back to the Arrowverse anytime soon. And John Barrowman actually dropped something that I don't think he was supposed to drop, which is that he is not going to be in any DC TV shows next season.
Now, because I think the last thing that I remember seeing him in thus far was Legends of Tomorrow, and he didn't have like necessarily Fatal Arc. So
nope.
He was there.
He was there. There has been talk that he's going to be on the finale, or leading up to the finale of Arrow. But his hint basically was, if you saw the musical crossover of The Flash, so spoiler alert if you haven't seen that, he said the rule of that is what happens in the musical world is what happens in the real world. Basically meaning if Barry and Kara died, then they would die in the real world.
Right.
So he was saying that his character who died is probably going to die by the end of Arrow.
Oh.
Is what he was hinting
at.
Yeah.
But the spoiler, not spoiler, should have said, not should have said. Oh, what was that picture that Rainey showed us today that somebody had posted about Star Wars?
Oh, something about...
Speaking of spoilers.
C2E2?
Yeah.
Was that the most recent Star Wars?
Yeah.
C2E2 was one of the biggest cons, but they had Star Wars Celebration not that long ago.
Yeah, Star Wars Celebration's the one I'm thinking of. They had, all the panelists and stuff, and our friend wasn't sure if it was just a photoshopped image, but they put, the character nameplates in front of them, and one of them said, Rey Kenobi.
Yep, and the other one said Finn Windu.
Yeah.
Is what the other one was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure those are both bogus.
Right. But at the same time, it's like...
Well, I think they actually did put them up, but the thing about Star Wars Celebration is they know that people are looking for spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They also had Liam Neeson come out, and he did a little interview, and he was talking about what happened with Jar Jar. And that he actually went on to become a dark Sith user and stuff like that, which is totally bunk. They've never put that in canon. So, I do think that's hilarious.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious, but I don't think
the only problem would be is that to fall into the Kenobi line, she would have to be like a great granddaughter almost to be that far out. And as far as we know, Obi-Wan didn't have any relatives or anything like that, or any love interest.
Right. I mean, and that kind of goes.
I know it's a popular fan theory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, and I'm sure that kind of bleeds more into the EU. Like, I haven't really followed it as far as like a lot of the novels and the graphic novels.
Well, I'm pretty sure when Disney bought out Lucasfilm, I think they made like all of that like not canon, anyways.
Right. I
But they're still kind of pulling bits.
They're getting like, well, just like how they
but-
said they weren't taking any influences from the cartoon show.
Yeah.
But then in like what was it, Rogue One, they had a ship that was specifically brought in the cartoon show and things like that. So it's hard to say what's canon and not anymore within the universe. Not straying too far from Planet Comic.
We can talk about anything geeky, man.
This is we got so much to catch up on. So like last time we were going to podcast, we had actually both got to see Doctor Strange within the timeline that had come out.
It was like within a week.
Within a week, it was such a proud moment. And then there was just
I was wearing my Doctor Strange shirt. I was drinking something out of my Doctor Strange mug.
It was so good. I don't know. I mean, let's rewind. Like, did you like it?
I loved it. I thought it was awesome. Probably 5th or 6th top MCU movie, maybe 7th.
Bringing magic into the Marvel.
Benedict Cumberbatch was awesome.
Yeah.
The fact that he also mocapped and voiced Dormammu was hilarious.
Which I didn't know that until obviously the end credits, because I thought that they had gotten somebody else cast to do that. But the idea that he was just arguing with himself is just funny.
It's like, who better to argue with Benedict Cumberbatch than Benedict Cumberbatch?
Who did you say was one of your top choices for the casting of that? Like, we talked about
Pedro Pascal. I really liked him. He played Oberyn Martell in the Game of Thrones show.
Okay.
For some reason, I thought he would make a really good Stephen Strange. Fan cast of mine, nothing anything near confirmed, but Benedict Cumberbatch did a great job.
But because we talked before, like he just seemed like he was in everything at that point. So of course he was getting his good run on Sherlock, and then he was Khan, and then he was Smaug. Which, watching those behind the scenes clips with him like actually on all fours, like.
Well, I think that's also one of the reasons they cast him, was because he had experience with mocap before.
Yeah.
So, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie. I thought it was a great addition to the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a lot of hate behind it, but I really enjoyed the casting they did for the Ancient One and Wong and Baron Mordo and Caecilius. Like, I just thought it was all really good.
Yeah, we had somebody that talked about in our little friend group that talked about like the inherent racism behind by casting just this white woman as the Ancient One, but then the writers have gone deeper into like, okay, well, of course we cast her because she was a phenomenal actress.
Oh yeah.
And we had to leave out the part about being in Tibet, because if you list Tibet as a thing and then you try to show the movie in China, then you're messing with their culture and the whole political thing that's going on over there, and then you can't show it there.
Yeah.
Which is one of the second largest movie audience, or something in the world.
Which is actually why it's incredible that Deadpool did as well as it did, because it didn't get released in China because of the rating. I mean, even going back to like the Iron Fist stuff, I don't understand the uproar. That like Danny Rand
is
stupid.
It's a double-edged sword with that, because cast Danny Rand or Ancient One as Tibetan or Asian or Southeast Asian specifically, then you're gonna get backlash about you're just playing into cultural stereotypes and all of that, or cast him as a white person and you're gonna get now you're being racist and there's cultural appropriation involved. They're gonna get backlash either way.
Especially with like the Danny Rand character, like originally he was released and created to go along with like the kung fu fad of the time, Bruce Lee and all that, and then they came out saying that they had like this great opportunity to cast an Asian American in this role, but like Danny Rand is a spoiled white kid in the comics.
Which is what was interesting because he was an outsider when he was in Kunlun because of his heritage.
Yeah, and that was part of the whole premise of him being there and getting the Iron Fist and all that was he shouldn't have it. He's not part of Kunlun. You know, that whole that old chestnut. But
thanks, Dan Cave.
Oh God, I just love Dan Cave so much, and that's one of the things that's ingrained into my vocabulary. Just like phenomenal because of this jackass. Yeah. No, I just
say awesome a lot too, in case you were wondering.
I mean, but that's so generic. Phenomenal. It's good. It's so good. But yeah, no, I don't know. I can't keep up with the whole. What was it? Ghost in the Shell. They were pissed off because they were whitewashing with Scarlett Johansson
when she actually looks like Major from the frickin' anime.
She looks so good.
Yeah.
And what was it you were saying? Yeah.
Saying a lot about it, but
that's a whole nother podcast.
In the specific, in like the manga specifically, they talk about how she distinctly doesn't look very Asian.
Yeah.
Like they never really mention her race. She's also not her original body.
Exactly. That's always been my thing. I'm like, it's not her original body. It may not even be her original ethnicity. You have no idea.
Or even like her original gender, depending on whether or not like you speak specifically with the anime or manga.
I was gonna say because there was a moment in there where they actually asked her if she wanted a male body because it would be stronger than the female body. So I don't know. Yeah. Plus
they joke about it a lot too.
Yeah.
Her and God, I can't remember him. Robotic
Bato.
guys. Yeah. They have joked about it like in manga where they're like, oh, like you could really have been a dude before all this, and Major's like, yeah, you're right, definitely could have.
And then awkward silence and then laughter. Well, and so even and spoiler alert for those that haven't seen the movie, but so if you've been following the manga, great. This movie did a good job of taking the elements from like the manga, the animated movies that had been released. You said there was an actually running anime, wasn't there? Perhaps
it wasn't very long to live.
But it took little elements from each of it. So there was the scene where she's pounding on the giant robot and she goes to rip it off and she rips her arm off. It's like that's a classic scene, and it's in there. They actually touch on her origin in this movie, and whether or not it's canon in the manga, I don't remember. But they show this perfect, this Asian woman being dragged away from whatever to be experimented on, and I'm like, you can't get mad that they're not casting, like they cast an Asian person as her original body.
Yeah.
And then she's put into a robot body, like
it's literally a robot body. 3D printed, thousands of hours of spent robot body.
That was the other thing, and for those that haven't seen, I'll post the links in the description below. Adam Savage on Tested did a really good job. He went through with the makers that were assigned to the project, and they talked about all the different props and everything they made for it. 3D printing the entire bodies for the robot skeleton. They 3D printed out of silicone her camouflage suit with a single fucking seam down the back, like only one seam, and and they only made two, one for her and one for a stunt double. Like the hours that went into it, phenomenal, and everything that came back out of it was they're whitewashing. That's what people got.
Well, and the thing that kills me is that, mangas especially, and animes, the Japanese are very much enthralled with Western culture.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you go back and watch like Full Metal Alchemist, like
clearly set.
Exactly.
Yes, yeah.
Go watch stuff like Studio Ghibli stuff like Howl's Moving Castle.
Attack on Titan can even be said that it's set within Central Europe.
Yeah. Exactly. So even though they have, usually Asian-sounding names in most of them, they're still very much centered around Western culture. So... Yeah. I don't know. I think the whole whitewashing thing is just
the people the people that didn't get upset about it are the people that should have if they were going to, which was the Japanese people. They're like, oh, this is a great movie. Like, good job, guys.
Yeah, they're like, she looks great.
Yeah. Well, just like with the upcoming Death Note Netflix series, like everyone's like, oh my god, and I'm like, it's set in America.
Yeah.
And all of these Asians are going, it's set in America.
Yeah, like we're good with that.
Yeah.
We're interested to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know when.
There's a Death Note musical, by the way.
God damn it.
Yeah, YouTube the songs. They're pretty freaking phenomenal.
Oh my I don't know.
They're phenomenal.
Phenomenal. That old chestnut. I don't know. And this may sound like a super like racist thing to say, and totally call me on it if it is. But it's weird to me when like a lot of white people will get upset about whitewashing when the original ethnicity doesn't give a shit. Like, I mean, it's so,
super racist.
Super racist. So it's just, you know, they're all upset that we're whitewashing Asians out of Asian roles, and this is what Japanese, you know, manga film setting, blah blah blah, and the Japanese are like, good job, solid work, like we love it.
Well, like if you go back to Iron Fist, if you had cast an Asian person in that role just because it's a martial artist,
yeah.
How is that not more racist than actually casting him based on the canon?
And there was actually a pretty good interview with the guy that plays Iron Fist, and then
Finn Jones.
Chris is
Colleen,
so good.
the actress that plays Colleen in the show, whose name I can't quite remember right now.
I don't.
Not important.
And she was directly asked, you know, while sitting next to her co-star, like how she felt about Danny Rand being cast, you know, as a white man. It's like clearly she couldn't give her full opinion on it since her co-star was sitting right next to her, but she made a pretty good point. She's like, he acts very well, like he does a good job in the role, and if you want to, you know, portray, you know, Asian people in media, portray them as lawyers or, you know, secretaries, you know, just regular jobs that you would, you know, cast, you know, white people in for movies. And she makes a good point that to keep putting, you know, people of specific races into the stuff that they're stereotypically known for, it doesn't really show what these people truly are. It just shows their stereotypes.
Exactly.
Right, because the argument in the end can be made either way. It just depends on like who wants to be more upset at that time. Oh, you didn't cast the Asian person in this martial arts role. How could you cast an Asian person in this martial arts role? I mean, it's somebody somewhere is always going to be pissed off about it. And what's really sad, especially for like a movie like Ghost in the Shell, like I thoroughly enjoy cyberpunk as a genre, and I liked what
There aren't a lot of good cyberpunk
there's not.
movies.
I mean, because some of the cult classics, you go back and you watch them, and they're cult classics because of the actor at the time, or because it's so obscure, not because it was good. Like, I did not enjoy Blade Runner. Did not enjoy it.
Okay.
It was you know, I mean, it was an okay flick, but it just seemed really choppy the way it was put together. Like, if I had more background to it, it would have made for a better flick. But it in itself just felt like a choppy movie. But, you know, a lot of people like it, and that's great. And I love that it's a cult classic. I think that, unfortunately, because of all the BS, Ghost in the Shell is going to become a cult classic later.
Yeah.
Like, it should have done better on our end than it did.
Every geek that I know that went and saw it really enjoyed
Loved it. Yeah, I mean, the visuals were great. Had a great cyberpunk portrayal. Like, it's really a great movie to look for if you're into that genre, but a large majority was more focused on the whitewashing and the racism, and then of course then they tell their friends, and they don't want to, you know, social media being a thing, they don't want to post on there that, oh, I went to go see it, and then get slammed for being racist and blah blah and this and that.
Well, even all the big news sites were promoting it, so just that negative word of mouth getting out.
Oh yeah.
It's part of the same thing that's happening to the DCEU with, you know, the Rotten Tomato scores being so low before the movie comes out, the critics bashing it, the news sites bashing it. Granted, their movies have been pretty terrible, but I mean, that doesn't help any.
Right. I mean, and they're not the worst they could have been. They could have been much better. But
to be fair, with as bad as Batman v Superman is as a movie, it's still one of the highest grossing films of the past, few years. It still did incredibly well, despite how crappy it is.
Right.
For the first movie with the Trinity in it, it did do well. And it wasn't, the director's cut wasn't as bad as the theatrical cut, which is the first thing that I saw, which left a really bad taste in my mouth.
Same.
Just because, like you said, it was choppy. Yeah. It was, you know, poorly edited. It really didn't make sense. Superman was used more as an iconic figure instead of an actual character. I think he had maybe like 10 lines in the entire movie.
They're doing things like throwing Jimmy Olsen, a giant character, in there, killed off in the first scene. You don't know he's Jimmy Olsen until the credits, or
because he was like a CIA agent instead of an actual reporter.
And then what Zack Snyder, right? Yeah, Zack Snyder was like, I throw that in there. It's like a fun Easter egg, and it's like, it's not an Easter egg. Like, that's a major player in the entire whatever.
That's a beloved comic book
that's
character.
That's a whole nother rant. But
yeah,
but if you have to release another version of the movie for it to be good.
Yeah, that's actually so.
And then an interview to explain your.
Yeah.
So when they did that, and then out comes Suicide Squad, and then a director's cut of Suicide Squad, I'm like, what's to get me to go to the movie?
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait
just
for.
Don't leave any scenes out of Wonder Woman.
Right. Now the upside is Wonder Woman is the first movie without Zack Snyder's influence,
which is good.
It's very good. So it looks really good. The trailers look really good. I'm actually, even though Zack Snyder still has influence over it, I'm really looking forward to Justice League. As much as Jason Momoa does not look like Arthur Curry, he does look like a badass.
Yeah.
And
I think
I'm really excited
like,
for the world to see Aquaman as a badass.
Like how he was meant to be portrayed.
Exactly.
And even in just that quick clip.
Wow. Words.
Say that 5 times fast.
Not gonna try. When he's in there and he comes out of, just that one line when he comes out of the water and Batman's standing there with I'm assuming Commissioner Gordon, and he's like, "Batsuit or dressed like a bat, dig it."
Yeah.
Like just that kind of brand of like zero fucks given.
The one that like kind of cemented it for me that I'm like, okay, I'm okay with this casting, is when like the huge swill of water is like coming up behind him and he's drinking like straight from the bottle and just kind of throws it down and keeps walking. Yeah.
Like clearly,
like, that's a badass.
Like clearly they were like, all right, Aquaman, yes. Arthur Curry, no. And I mean, he's obviously still playing Arthur Curry, but that whole white boy premise.
I think he'll get the angst of Arthur Curry down pretty well.
Well, and that's the whole thing is, I mean, the reason people still have such a bad taste in their mouths regarding Aquaman goes all the way back to the Super Friends cartoon, where he was portrayed as this guy that rides the seahorse that telepathically talks to fish and really doesn't do anything.
That seahorse was important.
Definitely, Super Friends definitely didn't portray like comic book Aquaman as I personally love him.
You know, the first time I think I ever the thing that always stands out pivotally in my mind of seeing Aquaman like as the badass as he is was in the animated Justice League series when he had to chop off his own hand to save his son.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right.
I mean, the dude can go toe to toe with Superman and win, as well as not telepathically speak to fish, but command the fucking seas. Yes. He is a king. He has a trident.
Yeah.
Like, just, come on.
You mean the five point fork that they give him for Justice League?
Yeah. He's had that 5-point fork in comics for years now.
I just
trident.
Yeah. I just remember seeing a news article like last week. Somebody just tearing that apart. Like, oh, look at Zack Snyder going to the extreme with it. How is this a trident? I'm like, it's got points. He's from the sea. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Now you're nitpicking.
Right.
How dare you?
I saw a little comic strip kind of thing, and Superman flies down, sees Aquaman. Hey, Aquaman, have you heard of this global warming thing? Aquaman's like, nah, haven't heard of that at all. And Aquaman just kind of turns, kind of red. It's like, soon the entire world will be mine to command and underwater.
Keep burning that oil.
Keep burning that oil.
So beautiful. Good. No, I'm really I'm super, super looking forward to that. And even, God, I have to say, like, even if it's trash, like, it'll be fun to see.
It'll be glorious.
To see all, yes, exactly. Like, I was a little hesitant about Ezra Miller being Barry Allen's Flash, but
I still am.
Still don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to be more Wally West, but then
that's what I said.
But I mean, they're trying to also play. They're playing down to the audience just like they did in the first one. Like, it's assuming the people that come and watch this, they're going to be like cash fans. Mm-hmm. They know Barry Allen more.
Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Well, and then if they get the fans that just watch the TV show, they'd be like, why is Wally West white now?
Yeah.
And it's like Wally West started white. Yeah. Once again.
Well, because even in the Rebirth comics, we have both a black and white one now, right?
Yeah.
So
right.
it's It's all relative. It's as long as you like Wally West the character, and then they gave him 2 different personalities. They gave him the snarky Wally West, and then like the cool kid Wally West. I mean, in the end, it doesn't matter as long as you enjoy the story that you're reading.
Exactly.
Which is what it all boils down to.
Oh, that old chestnut.
That old chestnut. Enjoy the content you're reading. That old. I love reading. I don't give a shit what race, gender, or what color suit you have on. Chestnut. Back to you. No. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long weekend, and we're not even done yet. No, I mean,
my legs say otherwise.
I will carry you, son. No.
Okay.
No.
I'll ride on your back while you push the stroller.
I will do that. I'll do that for you. I mean, yeah. As much as I don't like the idea of Ezra Miller being Barry Allen, like it'll still be fun. It'll be a fun character for him to play. I mean, the suit. I do kind of dig the suit, the kind of armored look.
The only thing I don't like, besides the casting, and that's just me and DC in general, is I don't like how when he uses his powers, the lightning seems to shoot off of him.
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, so if you go back and watch the scene where Bruce is in the Flash's like lightning cave, I don't know what we're gonna call it. But when he throws the batarang, the speed trap, there you go, I like it. When Bruce throws the batarang and Barry moves like super fast and kind of dodges out of the way, you see the lightning coming off of him and hitting things on the wall. Mm-hmm. So if he runs through a crowd of people, does that mean he's pumping like 10,000 volts through random passerbys? Like,
I feel it warrants an explanation in the movie. Like with the way it's gone, like I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't get it.
Yeah.
But it warrants it. Give me some explanation to your power. Just like
even if it's just we just thought it looked real cool in that one scene. Like
fine.
But that's the thing, they haven't just done it in that one scene. Yeah. They also show it in Suicide Squad when he takes down Captain Boomerang.
They also show it in when they show that convenience store security clip
where it basically knocks out the power of the whole place.
Yeah, I don't. I just at least if I get some kind of explanation to it, not that it makes it okay, but
like I'm a personal fan of superpowers with consequences.
Mm-hmm.
But which thing's a bit
which is fine, like because realistically, like the Flash in the comics, minus the whole like changing time paradox consequences, there's really been no consequences to him using his super speed, unless you follow the Blue Flash arc where he apparently loses time every time he travels close to the speed of light, which I think there's like a science thing that kind of principle that goes with that. That every time you if you were
technically the world around him ages
while he doesn't. And so the premise of that story, for those that haven't followed, is future older Barry Allen is obsessed with all the people that he could have saved but didn't, because he always got there just a half second too late and the time kept increasing. So every time he'd use his super speed, he would just lose that time and not be able to do everything that he needed to do. And there's another whole thing where he tries to go back and kick his own ass, and it doesn't end well for him. Being able to see that his Flash powers have consequences in the new movie, which is, simply lightning shooting off his body, would still count for something. I mean, that's the greatest way to do it, but at the same time, maybe gives it a little bit more premise and reality. Reality, air quotes. I don't know. I think the thing that I'm most interested in seeing is how they're doing Cyborg.
Yeah, I'm much more invested, I guess, in Cyborg's origins than the Flash's, because I think Cyborg's cooler.
Yeah.
The origins, I think, are going to be fine.
Yeah.
My fear, just from what they've shown, is we're going to end up with Cyborg having the same issues that Doomsday did with the CGI.
Yeah.
Looking pretty bad.
Which, looking at some of the quick little behind the scenes things they've dropped, you wouldn't think that it would go that far, because they've like created and attached some of the prosthetics, and they have the light and all that, and it honestly doesn't look that bad without the CGI. That they could have just taken that extra step and given him the pieces and then smoothed it out.
I've seen beautiful like craft foam armor that they could have literally just given him as costume pieces, and
Well, and not to jump too far back or start another conversation about it, but they did that with Ghost in the Shell. So like the robot concubines in the big murder scene, quote unquote. Like when Adam Savage was going through like the makerspace, they literally had them all printed and manufactured with the different faces and the detail inside the faces. They were all hand done. I mean, I know it takes time and it takes money, but you notice that on screen.
But CGI takes a lot more money. Yeah. it takes quite a lot of man hours and
to shade it right and get it all perfect and make it look realistic.
Make it even look somewhat realistic, which is why a lot of CGI comes off as real kooky. Yeah. Because they don't spend the proper amount of man hours, making it look realistic.
Yeah, like the only parts that really were like, I mean, they obviously had like a CGI overlay on like a lot of things in Ghost in the Shell, but you knew that those pieces were there and those pieces were real. Like when they opened, when it closed, when the tentacles came out, all that. Like each of those pieces were made, each of those scenes were made, and they could have done something very similar to Cyborg because again, they show him coming out of an elevator or walking down a path, and he's got those pieces on him, and it looks great. It looks great without the CGI.
Yeah.
But then then the mess it up and turn it into like another Doomsday. Like honestly, I could have handled most of that film up until that point. Like even any other bad guy, hell, even the Lex Luthor, who I still hate the casting for, still would have been fine up until the Doomsday.
Doomsday this early is a little iffy on their part anyway, but
and
most of the movie's green screen, so most of this movie, or most of the Justice League movie is CGI, or just kind of...
Which I don't think they're planning on doing with Wonder Woman. Like, I feel, didn't they mention they built like a lot of those sets?
They built quite a few of those sets, and I think some of those are actual streets.
Yeah.
From what I understand, like they actually, blocked off parts of like London and filmed
that stuff, and you definitely get that feel when they're doing the camera pans and they're in the city.
They definitely use a filter on that camera to make it look kind of old timey World
rustic
War I.
But once again, that's we don't have Snyder's influence.
Yeah.
Whereas Justice League obviously does.
Right. Which I think that's the last project he has his hand in, right? Is that right? Yeah.
For right now.
Yeah. Because all the other movies that are slated, but there's Flash, Shazam, Green Lantern Corps, which
I think it's gonna just involve Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart, and maybe the other Earth Green Lantern that I can never remember the name of because no one actually cares about him.
There's a couple different Earth ones.
Yeah, I know that there's a third
Guy Gardner,
Kyle
Rayner.
Because there's been
Jon
talk,
Stewart.
and they're not including all of the Green Lantern Corps in it.
Right.
But they're there are quite a few of the alien ones in there, and
right. Kilowog and.
I think one of the quotes is, "Oh yeah, we got that one alien with the really kooky name in it." That was.
That's all of them.
Yeah,
that's everyone.
But that was an actual quote.
I know it.
In an interview.
The thing which I don't know if it was just like a fan thing or what, but I remember when they were releasing the posters for Justice League, the big promo was like Unite the Seven, and obviously the heroes they've shown isn't all seven of them. So the theory I remember reading was that the seventh one was going to be Green Lantern, but not the traditional Green Lantern. Like I'm thinking it's probably going to be Abin-Sur.
Be interesting.
Just because jumping in, like it would be that different kind of flavor that they go with.
Yeah.
That Zack Snyder-ish way. We were talking about the CGI with Cyborg.
Oh, the Cyborg CGI that looks just as bad as Green Lantern does.
Yeah.
Floating head, very clearly CGI body.
Yeah, like with the pieces that they had attached to him, if you look behind the scenes, like they look great.
Yeah.
Like the little pieces here and there, but I don't know. It just seems like they're really missing an opportunity to build Cyborg.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I think
I think is something that fans would absolutely lose their shit.
They would lose their minds. The effort and time they got put in it, and it would be noticed. You would notice that shit. But I know in the those little security clips that Bruce Wayne had obviously gotten from Lex Luthor. So it's the mother box has bonded to, just like the traditional origins, more or less, bonded to.
They actually did that in Justice League War,
yes,
the animated movie,
which that was great,
mm-hmm.
and I'm hoping for something similar to that follow through, but I don't know.
I mean, DC's got the opportunity to do great things. They just have to step up to the plate and do them.
Guardians is coming out soon.
Guardians comes out next week.
You already got your tickets.
I have my tickets.
We need to
get tickets.
We need to get on that. What are you hoping to see from Guardians?
I think it's going to be a little bit more of what we loved about the first one, but instead of getting more of the, putting the team together, since they've been together for a while, you get to see them kind of growing together, having those family rifts that you would get from being together with someone for that amount of time. It should be interesting since they're introducing Ego the Living Planet.
I've got a lot of feelings about that one, but
talk about your feelings. What do you think of Star-Lord's father being the legendary Kurt Russell?
Oh God, Ego the Living Planet isn't a comic book character I ever expected to be in a live action movie.
Yeah.
if I don't get the image
Like at all.
from space with the giant face on the planet talking, it's gonna lose it for me. That's the sexiest part of Kurt Russell.
Although, given that they're doing Ego the Living Planet, it makes perfect sense for Ego to have the last Infinity Stone, since that'll build up to the next one. But there's also talk of that Infinity Stone is what Hela in Ragnarok is going to be using as her power source. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the last one pops up at.
There was one of the things I was watching had suggested that who's the cat at the Rainbow Bridge that sees everything?
I know.
Thank you. That his power comes from the
me
engines.
apparently.
Yeah. Apparently comes from the Soul Stone because he had some kind of, he mentioned something that he could see all the souls across all the realms, and his eyes glow yellow, just like how Star-Lord's eyes glowed purple when he was holding the stone, just like how the Time Stone made everything glow green.
Or Loki's staff or whatever.
Staff, and you would see it pop up in the eyes. And
the only issue I have with that is there's already a yellow stone, and it's the Mind Stone in Vision's
It is the
head.
Mind Stone. Well, because I guess technically this one's orange-ish. Yeah. And then, of course, she unleashes like that orange fire, which might not be fire, but power from the Soul Stone when she goes to take over. The basis behind the theory was that in Thor's vision in Dark World, when he was taking his lightning hot bath, his vision that he had,
it was actually an Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
okay.
Age of Ultron.
Sorry, when he was having his lightning hot bath.
The weird out of place scene in Age of Ultron.
Just
the one that Kevin Feige was like, you have to have this or you lose all the Hawkeye scenes.
Yeah, that one. Was that Heimdall in the future, his eyes were completely white, and it was like it was very set post Ragnarok. Everybody drinking, carrying on, mass destruction everywhere. So that is where that theory came from, was when his eyes were originally that glowy iris color they are now, future vision him completely white. So
Interesting.
Something to think about.
I'm excited for Thor Ragnarok.
Me too, because I think
it looks so good.
I think it's the Thor movie we've finally been waiting for. Like that first one was and the Dark World was a little more like they had like
Dark World was
Dark World, I'm pretty sure, is like, of all of the MCU movies, I'm pretty sure it falls near at the bottom.
Right.
There were some really good scenes in
There
Dark
were some
World,
good moments.
like
just like there were some good moments in
Frigga's
Thor.
Funeral scene was beautiful.
That was good.
Like, I was crying during that.
It's just a very forgettable movie.
It is. It's very forgettable.
And well, and so was the first Thor. And the only thing that really I felt saved the first Thor was Sir Anthony Hopkins playing Odin.
Well, there's a lot of things that I feel like they did right in the first Thor movie. Like, I felt like the Warriors 3 actually felt like a team.
That was
which
good,
you didn't
yeah.
get in the second one.
Yeah.
The first introduction of Loki,
Mhm.
and as you said, Sir Anthony Hopkins playing Odin. But
did
then you also you have Thor's, like, story of how he becomes not only the person we know in the comics
Right.
as a great, strong warrior, but also compassionate and understanding.
I do like the scene between him and when he finally gets to his hammer and like that realization that he can't pick it up, that he's actually not this cocky, worthy bastard. Also, like the Easter egg of the Dr. Blake tag that he had on.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. Blessed.
Well, and it's the first introduction we get to Jeremy Renner as Hawkeye.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it was
more Phil Coulson, which
it
is
was
always good.
it was a good film. I just felt it could have been better, and then obviously Dark World just very forgettable, like you mentioned.
Like, I feel like the only thing that the Dark World had going for it, besides some of the scenes like Frigga's funeral and stuff, was just the introduction of the Reality Stone.
Yeah, another Infinity Stone, and then they
Really
gave that to the Collector right at the end. So it was another trip to the Collector to kind of cement that in your mind.
It was actually the first trip to the Collector.
Was the first one?
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm
which
thinking.
ties,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
that with
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, because they said they didn't want to have 2 Infinity Stones in the same location. It's actually, I think, the first time they mentioned Infinity Stones in the MCU as well.
Right.
The Thor movies have been real good at setting up
Other movies, but not being its own movie.
Yeah.
But I feel like with Thor Ragnarok, we're finally getting a good movie that we want. But then I don't know that there's any more Thor movies coming after that.
I don't think that there are.
Nothing planned.
Yeah. Which would
But
be
they,
really.
they haven't mentioned anything planned for Phase 4 after
Right.
all of the Infinity Stone stuff happens. Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War stuff.
What do you think about them taking the Ragnarok storyline and smashing it with like the Planet Hulk storyline?
So I understand why they're doing it.
Mhm.
Universal still owns the distribution rights to Hulk.
Mm.
So Marvel doesn't officially fully own that character. Because of that, they don't want to do any more solo movies because they would have to be released under Universal, not under Marvel. So to that aspect, I understand it. To the other aspect of it, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Even though we're not going to get a full...
It's such an iconic Hulk story.
It really
That
is.
to
It's
see
a
it at
great
all
one.
I
is
just
kind
want Beta Ray. That's all I want.
I don't know if you'll ever get Beta Ray. I mean, you've got Groot, you've got Rocket Raccoon. I don't know if you even had Howard the Duck.
I've even had Howard the Duck.
I don't think you're going to get Beta Ray.
All I want is somebody coming out in a horse mask and getting the shit beat out of them by Hulk into the ground.
And then just to rise again.
Rise again. And we're going to do that at a Comic-Con. It's going to be great. The fans are going to love it. She's gonna wear the horse mask.
I was going to say, you're going to wear the horse mask.
Well,
she's going to beat the shit out of
She
you.
wants to wear the horse mask.
I'm gonna be Beta Ray Bill. Like this is
Goals.
Life goals
Yeah.
right
Life
now.
goals.
Yeah. I'll wear the mask. She'll wear the mask. We'll take turns. It'll be great. No, I really love.
Sounds like a good Friday night.
Yeah. I really love that they're doing that, and I'm going to assume that the scene after obviously, so the scene after Hela destroys the hammer with her bare hand, that I don't know why he would go to Planet Hulk. What's the planet? Sakaar?
Sakaar.
Yeah, because the Hulk was called the Sakaar since that would make sense. Goes to Sakaar. I know he's still looking for his father at the end of Doctor Strange, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then supposedly at the end of Ragnarok, him and Loki are talking to Doctor Strange. Did I have that right? Yeah.
I know. I haven't heard anything about that.
Okay.
But I think it's interesting that if you actually go look at some of the concept art for the next Avengers movie, they show Rocket in front of Thor, which makes sense since the Guardians are going to be in it. But Thor actually has a long shafted weapon that almost looks like maybe Mjolnir doesn't get reforged.
Right.
Maybe he actually has the half axe, half hammer combo at that point
from the Odin Sun arc
going forward.
Which I mean, I like that a little bit better than him just suddenly becoming unworthy. Like. It was a great story arc. It was
a great story arc until they said that it was Jane Foster.
Yeah.
I was super sold on it, and it was just such cheap writing. Like it's just lazy. There were so many better characters that it could have been.
Well, and then it was the reason why he became unworthy was something that was said to him when he was being tuteled, and I don't remember the.
It was during the what was it called? Original Sin.
Yes.
storyline.
Yep.
And Nick Fury had the
Watcher's
eye of the
eye,
Watcher.
but he whispered what it was something that was said to Thor way back when he was being tuteled, and was that the Asgard was a bunch of vain gods and all that, and not all that, and so that realization that he was right was suddenly made him become unworthy, because I guess at the time he just blocked it out. And then, of course, during that series, Original Sin, when he had the Watcher's Eye, could see everything and all that. Like, the reminding him of that. The thing, I have a problem with that working, because he would have known that. Like, that's knowledge he had the whole time.
It's still lazy writing.
Yeah.
They led it up to be this great thing, that this very powerful message that was relayed to him that made him unworthy, and just saying something that was already said to him previously.
Yeah. To me, it would have been something like some kind of like great sin that his father did, or some kind of defect or flaw in the whole hierarchy of Asgard, or the creation,
or something that he did that he thought was great and wonderful, ended up being like earth-shattering.
And now the hammer has a personality.
It's sentient,
and transforms into a person.
Yep.
Yeah. So I
that part's real weird. Like, it always kind of had like a mind of its own kind of feel to it, but like the sentient form of it, I guess, is just real.
Like, it was an interesting run, or an interesting part of that story, where it took the form of Jane Foster to help hide Jane Foster's identity, and it's like, oh, okay, you're a person now. That's cool.
I always wonder how much of that was actually Jason Aaron's plan, though, and how much of it that them coming in and going, "This is where we want you to take this."
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like,
I'm not honestly sure, because
get them guiding it. Like, I need you to go this way with it, but I don't want to. Well, then you don't have a job.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess I'll do that.
For him, he's one of their big writers.
Yeah.
He's on other books. I'm pretty sure that's the big chunk of his money. I mean, he does some of the things for Image and stuff like that too. That's not to say he doesn't do creator-owned.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure his Marvel stuff is a big chunk of his payday, and
his bacon, if you will.
And if they want him to do it,
he's probably gonna do it.
I have a feeling it might be that. And I've always wondered that about it. I've never had the guts to ask him, even though he is local.
Yeah.
So he goes to Planet Comic Con all the time. He is there right now. But I've
probably
never,
not right now.
Well, not right now, but he is
I'm
there
going.
this year. But it's one of those things I've never had the guts to be like, did you really want this to be this way?
Well, and like we were talking about, those are like some of those questions that you would ask them, like person to person, not panel wise, or from it, like putting you on the spot. Hey, so while I have everybody watching,
and while you're basically forced to answer this
question, for me, why don't you go ahead and handle that for me, dog?
Instead of, hey, happen to run into you at a bar over a few drinks.
Can I see you in the bathroom real quick? I have a question for you. You're a lady. Thank you for noticing. Bathroom now. Questions. Go. No, I'm.
Wow, you went deep down that rabbit hole.
I was born in that rabbit hole, dog. No, I mean, because I don't think that they'll do, at least anytime soon, they'll do like a standalone Jane Foster Thor film.
Also, I think Natalie Portman has explicitly said that she isn't signed on for any more movies. Not saying that she can't be signed on.
She hasn't been given yet.
I've noticed they're phasing a lot of their female
out
characters that weren't major characters. Like Gwyneth Paltrow really hasn't been signed on for much of anything.
Though I think there was rumor that she will be in one of the upcoming ones. Whether or not that is true, I don't know.
Could be.
But I believe there was a rumor recently going around that she's listed in one of them.
Yeah, Pepper Potts just, mysteriously
Did you say Pepper Pops?
That's what it sounded like.
Like a lollipop?
Well, now I want a lollipop.
Like a peppery lollipop? That
to be
sounds
fair, she didn't just randomly disappear.
But
they did kind of explain that her and Tony aren't together.
Yeah, but there's no middle in there. Like,
it just all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, and supposedly Thor's going to have a thing with Valkyrie in Thor Ragnarok, is the rumor.
Which is weird.
It is weird.
Yeah, it is what it is anymore. What about Jane Foster?
Well,
what about Spider-Man?
What about Spider-Man? Let's talk about Spider-Man.
Dude, I'm excited.
What excites you about it?
There's a lot of things.
Spidey life.
That Spidey life.
Spidey life.
I'm actually really excited how they're dealing with the Vulture. Yeah. He's actually going to be a scavenger. A lot of the tech is actually going to come from other MCU movies.
So
Shocker's main weapon is going to be Crossbone's weapon from Captain America: Civil War, re-modified to be electrical.
What I understand is that the Vulture's character has a company that's going around cleaning up after all these super incidences.
Basically,
and all that.
Damage Inc.
Yeah, Damage Inc. Yep. And then Avengers Tower, Tony Stark takes over, effectively running him out of business, and now he's got all this stockpiled tech and garbage that he's
from like the Chitauri invasion,
and then like Crossbone stuff, and which I kind of really dig that storyline. Like that's really cool.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Tony's like not wanting to share his toys, and he just keeps taking his stuff back?
I think he just wants Aunt May.
Yeah, he just.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, he's like, I want my shield back. I want my suit back.
You can keep the suit, but set me up with your hot aunt.
Yeah,
exactly. That's all he wants.
You almost killed that whole boat of people, so here's the proposition: give me that hot aunt, son, or I keep the suit.
Yeah.
You can't touch my aunt. Get out of the suit.
To be fair, I think it's a good arc for the story to go in.
Oh yeah.
Because it shows that Peter can be an Avenger-level hero without having to have Tony's tech.
Well, and that's the thing.
That he's actually earning it instead of just being given it for Tony's use.
And it also gives him the opportunity to be more of that techie, geeky Spider-Man that we want. Because he... there's the cutscene where him and his best friend at the time are in that school that he got admitted to.
Donkey, who's not Donkey. I mean... I'm just saying. It seems very Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah. but they're in there. But they're in there and they're playing with the tech. So he's now had this opportunity to play with the suit and all that. And so now he's making upgrades to his current. So you get to see more of that techiness. You get to see more of that geekiness.
Well, and I like that there's kind of that almost a bond between him and Vulture, and the fact that they both are somewhat of scavengers. Peter in Civil War was a dumpster diver for his tech. Vulture is a cleaner of.
A city dumpster diver. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. So I like that they're drawing those parallels between the two. Yeah, no, I'm excited. Plus, I think Tom Holland killed it in Civil War. So.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, he does. He does. He is that like younger and more naive Peter Parker that I wanted. I thought Andrew Garfield did okay as Spider-Man, but not as Peter Parker.
I would agree with that.
I feel that Tobey Maguire was in both aspects.
I thought he was good in My Chemical Romance.
Yep, no, that was great. I wanted his autograph.
Dig on this.
Dig on this.
Oh, that old chap.
That old 1990s emo hair flip, Spidey dance move chestnut.
The thing that worries me is that so we've got the Sony and Marvel deal, where obviously Spider-Man was in the MCU, he was in Civil War. He's going to be in at least the first Avengers movie. I think both of them, maybe. I don't remember. And Marvel gets to help on Spider-Man Homecoming and what's effectively being called Spider-Man Homecoming 2.
Right.
But after that, the deal hasn't been renewed, hasn't been updated. It's just, that's it so far. But Sony wants to continue their Spider-Verse by making a Venom movie, by also making a Black Cat and...
Silver Sable.
That's right, the Silver Sable. But it's not going to be MCU influenced. No. Which is weird to me, because it's like, okay, if you're not going to use Peter in a Venom movie, how is Venom effectively going to get his powers?
Right.
Because he got most of those powers by being bonded to Peter.
Right.
So, I don't know. It seems really weird.
Well, and then there was talk that Sony was basically going to continue the share deal, but now that the Spider-Man is doing good again, they want him back. They're going to take him back, and then they're going to ruin it. I mean,
so what's probably going to happen is when they go back to the table, from what I've heard, no money was exchanged in the original deal. It was just, you let us use Spider-Man, we'll help you with your movies.
Right.
I have a feeling Sony's going to come to the table asking for money.
Yeah, it's like, well, now that his character's doing so good, we allowed you to utilize his likeness and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Please give us monies.
I have a feeling that's what it's going to be. And it's just going to come down to, does Disney want a deal?
Yeah.
Do they want Spider-Man included in the MCU bad enough to pay for it?
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I hope that want is there because they've done a great job with the character already, and he just had a small cameo essentially.
The want is there. It's going to depend on the dollar sign.
Yeah,
is really what it's going to come down to. Because I'm pretty sure Marvel would have paid Fox for Fantastic Four rights if they would have let it go.
Yeah,
I believe they actually offered.
I think so.
I believe they asked. Well, and not even.
They honestly just wanted to use Silver Surfer and Galactus.
That's all they wanted, and I think they actually didn't even ask for Fantastic Four. I think they asked specifically for those two, and that was it.
Yeah.
And they offered money for it.
Yeah.
But Fox.
They're like, no, we're doing such a good job.
Remember that last Fantastic Four movie? Oh, so good.
So good.
So good.
I tried watching it.
The sequel's
and
missing.
I think I got like 15 minutes in, and I'm like, and I'm done.
Because that was the best part. You can clearly tell that it was two different movies in the same movie because they actually started building up the characters and they were trying to build a story that you liked. And then I don't remember who came in or who changed, but they changed the suits, they changed the hair color, they changed the script, and then what you got in the end was the garbage. You know what I like? You know the movie I wanted to see was there was like a 30-second dialogue between the Thing and Reed Richards in the plane after he found him in the desert and caught him because he was trying to recreate the machine to give him the powers to figure out how to help him or something.
You watched way too much of this movie.
I know, because I wanted to like it. I wanted to like it because I like Fantastic Four. And they were talking about their friendship and all that, and it was real. It was a real fucking moment in this shitty movie. And then afterwards, it was more garbage. And I was like, that 30-second clip, I want a whole movie of that.
The problem is first of all, you need better casting than what they did. But you need to treat Fantastic Four almost like an Indiana Jones style movie. Mm-hmm. They're a team of explorers. They're scientists. They're not superheroes.
Yeah.
And you can't treat them like that. If you treat them like a superhero movie, it's going to fail because it's not going to be
Which we've
what
seen
Fantastic
with
Four
the 3 Fantastic Four movies.
Exactly. And making Doctor Doom like a hacker that lives in his mom's basement was just terrible.
Yeah, that was horrible.
I mean, that's my WoW name, but
Doctor Doom that lives in his mom's basement.
Yeah. You gotta keep it real.
Check out her guild, dog. It's real.
Honestly, even going back to the first two movies, the casting was better.
Yeah.
Especially Doctor Doom. I thought Doctor Doom was the best part of those movies.
Great.
But
that actor's such a versatile actor.
Yeah, the movies just suffered from we're trying to be a superhero movie and shitty plot.
Yeah, because and Jessica, I love Jessica Alba. She's always been a favorite actress of mine.
And the guy that they had playing Reed.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name for the life of me.
Because he wasn't really in anything else after that.
But he was in a TV show called Forever. I can't remember his name. It's on the tip of my thumb. But they had Michael Chiklis playing the Thing. Yeah. It was fantastic. Yeah. You had Chris Evans, who at the time was a more comedic actor. Yeah. He wasn't Captain America level yet. Yeah. But he played a great Johnny Storm. Yeah. So you've got this great cast. You just can't make a good movie.
Yeah. Because in the end,
cast can only do so much.
Because in the end, the only thing that made those movies worth watching was the cast, because the plots were subpar at best. Mm-hmm. And, like you said, the whole hero aspect, but they should have been focused more on the
scientific. It belongs in a museum style.
That whole deal.
Turning Galactus into a giant whirlpool that looks like it's just going to, I guess, wash the planet away instead of actually
eat it.
Yeah. No.
Silver Surfer was terrible. I loved Silver Surfer, but just nope.
Yeah.
A whole lot of nope.
Whole lot of nope. It's almost as bad as that Eric Bana Hulk movie.
Oh, yeah.
Where the villain was a cloud, I think.
That was an intense fucking cloud, though.
I don't even really remember.
Old man yells at cloud.
Hulk smash cloud.
Oh, and he did. And it was great. Oh, that was my favorite Hulk. Just kidding.
That's my secret, Dustin. It's always cloudy.
Oh, you got me. So wrap it up?
Wrap it up. Go on it.
The Thing.
Guardians.
Soon. Planet Comic-Con. Great.
It's an excellent convention.
Don't
bring 3 1-year-olds.
I'll try not to.
Don't do it.
No. It was a good convention. I feel it was a good first convention experience for me, and I'm
definitely my favorite con I've been to.
I'm excited to wind it down tomorrow. Panels are good. Guests are good. A lot of geeky things coming out.
Yeah.
A lot of fun things that we're going to be trying with the podcast once we get back and have time to relax. I do want to try to do like the comic book club with you and some of the fellows up there. And
Comic book club will be fun.
And then the ladies as well if they would like to join. Yeah, we'll pick
commentary.
We're
gonna start doing movie commentary.
At
some point.
We'll figure out the logistics of that because what could be more hilarious.
We're gonna Mystery Science Theater the shit out of this,
and we're going to do it hard.
Yeah.
Which also now that it's
back,
back, Mystery Science Theater is back. In case y'all haven't watched it, watch it. I'm sure it's good. Final thoughts? Anybody? Final thoughts?
I need a nap.
I also need a nap. Same. I'm feeling very Billy Piper tired right now.
Oh, so Billy Piper.
So Billy Pipered out.
She's the sleepy goals.
Sleepy preciousness of my life. Anyway, so I've been Dustin.
Chris.
Miranda.
Kate.
And we will see you next time on Bards of Geekdom.
Later.